So, while I haven't been on YouTube for a long time making content, I have been a gamer for a long time. Pretty much since I was about 6 years old. I've played a great amount of games and still do, and that's the only major aspect that I would say makes me more than just a casual gamer. Just the amount that I've played alone elevates me to that status. Would I claim I'm a good gamer? I mean, I think I'm pretty good, but nowhere near as good as some. Definitely not the Twitch streamers or YouTubers that play everything on the harder modes. Which is okay if it's your job to sit at home, or if you've never known the touch of a romantic partner. Okay, look, I'm kidding, but really, I just don't have the time to devote to practicing. Which is why I'm terrible at Elden Ring and any Soulsborne game, honestly. But before I dive into this video and talk about my earliest thoughts, allow me to do the obligatory stuff. If you enjoy my content, please like, comment, subscribe, and follow me on Twitter. I welcome anyone to do so. Now, Elden Ring. Well, where to begin? Once, in college, I visited a local GameStop to find a new game and came across an intriguing PS3 cover entitled Demon's Souls. I thought, looks cool, and I decided to pick it up. Played the first hour and killed one boss after like 5 tries. I decided then that it was basically like the Xbox Ninja Gaiden and said, screw this. Traded it in, moved on. The difficulty, while strong, wasn't the main issue. It was so clunky and so heavy. It felt like your character was a morbidly obese drunk moving in a diver suit, or a 3-legged cow trying to balance on a trapeze. I hated it. Plus, at that time, I wasn't a patient gamer and was definitely more aggressive, always on the attack, which for any of these games is a really bad trait to have. So since then, I've played and tried every major FromSoftware game, and I've never finished any. Am I an expert or remotely qualified to talk about these games? Probably not, but how many YouTubers are experts at anything? Me included, so please stay in your corner, bruh. Bruh. I've played a few imitators of the FromSoftware formula and enjoyed those, like Jedi Fallen Order, which I loved, Code Vein, and even the not well-known Lords of the Fallen. I didn't finish it, God help me, I didn't. The last boss, but perhaps I just don't have the patience to finish them. Or didn't. I find that older age is maybe teaching me patience, most of the time. Regardless, I took the plunge and bought Elden Ring, even though I was admittedly a bit perturbed when I saw FromSoftware's name on it. And how do I feel about this one? Well, I like it. It's frustrating and difficult, sure, but for some reason, I keep coming back to it. Whereas I'd have likely walked away with my hands in the air in the past. And why? Why am I pulled back so easily? I simply love the world. Just looking at it, it's simply breathtaking and intimidating in scope. I mean, there are beautiful open world games out there, but this one has something unique about the lands between. Based upon the writings of George R.R. Martin of Game of Thrones fame, the story, what little I've uncovered thus far, involves an artifact called the Elden Ring. Title drop! That has been destroyed and its shards, known as Great Runes, becoming scattered and claimed by demigods that have become corrupted by the power of the runes. Your character, a Tarnished, someone who was exiled from the lands after losing the grace of the ring, is tasked with defeating each demigod claiming their runes and becoming the all-powerful Elden Lord. Alright, basically it's a pastiche of many popular fantasy stories from the last century, but with Martin's skill for world building, and FromSoftware's Hidetaka Miyazaki's love of punishing players. And that's certainly not a bad thing. In terms of gameplay, while I hadn't progressed very far in the footage that you're watching, but I have traveled much of the world to explore and buff my character before tackling its bosses since. It's basically like every other Soulsborne game, except the world is actually open, instead of vast arenas connected by halls, corridors, and pathways that give the impression of openness. Literally, you can pretty much go anywhere from the beginning, utilizing your horned horse. Okay, I'm trademarking it. Horned horse. Named Torrent, which is a cool addition too. Oh, and it's not as clunky or buggy as previous games. It has the smoothness of Sekiro with the weight and timing of Bloodborne, in my opinion, and I like the balance. As always, you can take very few hits, you have a stamina bar, and can use magic and skills. You can upgrade weapons, apply buffs, craft items. It's all the typical and expected stuff. You have to progress through the lands between by finding points of grace, and if you rest at one, all enemies killed respawn respawn, which can be a pain, but is also good for XP grinding. When you rest, you can upgrade your stats, upgrade flasks, your source of health replenishment, and even visit the round table, which, from what I've seen, has hidden areas and secret tasks. If you die, you return to the last point of grace, and whatever runes you've gathered are left where you died. And obviously, if you die before reclaiming what you've lost, well, you know. Again, all expected but still great. I never had any complaints about any of these components really. Okay, well, except for the respawning enemies. That part sucks sometimes, but I've learned to forgive and accept it. Okay, and definitely the risk of losing your progress when you die, but that's much like the old Genesis and NES days, so I was already used to that in a way. Really, my true complaints always came from how unforgiving the combat could be. Yes, the toxic "get good" mentality would argue with me here, but again, games should be accessible to anyone. But I can also say that not every game is for everyone, and this one is no exception. I felt good in the tutorial after the obligatory facing a creature too powerful for you scene that sends you to the tutorial, only to get my butt handed to me on a silver platter by a troll. Yep, I evaded Old Knight on his horse. Horn horse. I thought, screw this noise, and instead found a massive troll on a cliffside. So my samurai character, yes, I was a fan of Ghost of Tsushima, why do you ask? My samurai wanted to run, but I decided, I'm going to kill this. I don't care how big he is, he's going down! So, how'd it go? Okay, let me try again. Oh, come on! Alright, on my fourth try, I took him down. Felt elated, satisfied, and remembered this was simply just a normal enemy. Now, like I've mentioned, I've played a good amount since recording the footage used in the video, and have done a nice deal of exploration, faced numerous world enemies, no bosses yet, been too busy grinding, hunted for items to bolster my stats, and, well, I haven't hated it. Despite my loathing of overly difficult games in the past, this one, while certainly ridiculously difficult for a gamer like me, hasn't drop-kicked me over the edge into irreconcilable anger that makes me give up. In fact, it makes me want to revisit the other Soulsborne games to maybe give them another shot. Maybe, I don't know. We'll see. What else can I say? Elden Ring is both mesmerizing and painful, like a delicious burrito. It's heavenly to look at, a feast for the senses, but you know it's going to destroy your colon in a bloody mess. The world is intriguing, its plot is interesting, and its gameplay is more polished but typical Souls fare. It's certainly a hard game, with many reviewers calling it the hardest of them all. Maybe so. But with what I've experienced so far, maybe this will be the first one I actually complete. Whether I do or don't finish it though, I know there'll be a lot of frustration and hopefully plenty of payoff if I'm able to defeat its many challenges. I look forward to trying. If you're a big fan of difficult games and haven't checked it out, do so. If you're curious, try it out. And if you're a casual gamer or the casual gamer type that I think I am, maybe use this one as a starting point. But just be prepared to die. And die. And die. And die. And die. Okay, that was a little weird. Sorry about that. Let me know what you think in the comments below. Later.